Hey there, all things. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Becky, and today I've discovered something really cool that I want to share with you. Grab your laptops. Let's go. So, as you guys may or may not have guessed, I'm a really avid book reader. And it's kind of hard to find new book recommendations. I can't always be on TikTok looking at book recommendations, even though I am. And sometimes browsing in the library, or the bookstore, you find stuff that you kind of like, but not something that really hits your niche. Well, I've discovered something new through a book talker that I follow, and today I've decided to explore it.
This is the story graph. Let's create a username so I can show you guys what this does. It's going to remember all of the books you've read, all the books that you've liked to help create new recommendations. Getting your data from Goodreads is simple enough. You just go to your books, import, export, and ask to export all your Goodreads data. It'll export any book that you logged in Goodreads. This step, though, is not mandatory, so if you don't have a Goodreads account or don't really use one, feel free to skip this and just head straight into setting up your preferences. Well, how do you set your preferences? Super easy. Click this button and then take the survey. You can edit these at any time and always make changes, but the first thing it asks you is what are your favorite genres. They have an extensive list. It literally goes on and on and on, which makes it difficult to pick only 5. Easy enough. After this, which of these characteristics do you appreciate the most in the books you're reading right now? For me, that would be, strong world building or something otherworldly. Love that in my fantasy books. Lovable characters, can't get far without them. And I'm really a sucker for morally ambiguous characters or, anti-hero tropes. Are there any genres that you don't like to read or are not interested in right now? I've chosen biographies because I've never really been so interested in them. I also chose horror. I really don't like scary things. I put mathematics because I'm not interested in anything overly educational, so we just took that right out. I also included religion. That's not what I'm about these days. And I put thriller, but then amended that to true crime because I don't mind a kind of crime book like Anita Blake, but I don't want to read true crime. Which of these things, if any, most turns you off when reading a book? I hate flat characters. I hate a character that makes really poor decisions for what seems to be no reason. I really dislike poor writing, something that will pull you out of the story, and I really hate books that don't seem to come to a proper ending. Next, we complete this sentence. I am never or rarely in the mood for books that are. For me, that would be overly emotional or sad. I don't really like to consume sad media, so those are my 2 options. Now, if you think you've done a decent enough job, you can do this section later, but I think the more you put, the better. So I'm going to improve my recommendations. You just tell them a little bit more about the books you like to read, including more of those genres. For example, I really do enjoy a good fantasy book, anything involving fae, fairies. I'm into the young adult or new adult genres, and I'm a sucker for a good romance. So I put those to begin with, but I did elaborate a little bit more. I like books that take place both in present day or in history or in mythology or a mythical place. I also like multiple POVs, female-driven character stories, and a book that has a happily ever after. I love when things just wrap up nicely. When you're finished, it generates your recommendations, and this is what we got. All the books that they recommend you on the story graph are books that have fit your specifications. All of these fall into those book categories, which I think are amazing. There's already some books here that I do love, that I own, that I've actually read. The Cruel Prince, for instance, is one of my favorites. I really loved the series. So I can add that as a mark it as a book that I owned and add that as a book that I've read for my future book count. Something that I noticed immediately that I really actually like a lot is that it gives you not only the date that it's published and which genres it falls under, but also the page count, because I'm kind of a stickler for a page count and typically don't read anything under 300 pages, 250 pages. So seeing how big the book is going to be, I absolutely love that. So far, looking through all these options, the covers seem amazing. A lot of them have already pulled me in. They all hit the genres that I asked for. But what if today I'm not really in the mood for these particular type books? What do I do? This tab here at the top of the page, you can select something different. You can find the exact mood that you're into, something adventurous or something lighthearted. You can show books with those moods. Choose how fast the pacing of the book is. Do you want it fiction, nonfiction? Do you want it to eliminate books that you already own? Do you want to be able to dictate how many pages is in the book? Boom, you can do that too. Also, the story graph has a place that lets you set a reading goal as well. So naturally, I went and checked 50. If you guys want to hear more about my reading goals for 2021, click the link in the card above. And unlike some sites, it'll let you go back and edit your book goal if you decide to change your mind. Headed back to the home page here, you also have challenge directories. You can set your own reading challenges or join different reading challenges that are already happening. Filter the challenges, find something that suits you. Are you into book clubs? Do you just want to be reading nonfiction? Are you trying to read something with different languages every year? Do you want to read more own voice type books? It's all here for you. You can also create your own challenges to start with your friends. So that's the rundown of the site. Let's check out the home page. So you can see you have two separate sections here. This first one down below is your TBR pile. Those books come from Goodreads and all of that. You can also log them here. There's a second selection of the books that they've recommended you, and you can click on those recommendations and see what they are. For example, this one is fiction, fantasy, historical, and young adult. It has over 400 pages and gives you a synopsis. On the left-hand side, you can see what mood the books fit, how fast the pacing is, and then what others thought of the book. Is the character development strong? Are the characters lovable? Did you find the cast diverse? After you read it, you can go back and check these things. It also gives you an average book rating from other people who've been recommended this book. This site is amazing. Here's another book recommended to me. This is Nightfall by Anne Denton. It's over 400 pages, fast-paced, fantasy, and romance. So now we know how it works, let's choose some books. I included some more genres that I like, something between 300 and 500 pages or more, and I'm excluding books I own. I hope I didn't overly bore you guys or go into too much detail about the site. I just find it so cool. Make sure you click the link in the description box and head over to thestorygraph.com to check out some books on your own. Never be in a reading rut again and always be able to find the exact type of book you're looking for. That's what this site is for, and I think that is so cool.
So yeah, I think the story graph is one of the coolest things I've come across in a long time. So many of those books looks like things that I would like and that I will potentially read. I've made sure to include the link in the description box down below, so definitely go and check that out if you're an avid reader or if you're in a reading rut and are looking for something new to be recommended that you think will be just up your alley. Thank you guys so much for watching this video again. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Comment down below if you decide to use the story graph or what type of books you're into. I'd love to hear more about it, and I will see you guys in the next. Happy reading, wild things. Blee!